Welcome back to the GSMC Deadball Sports Podcast, hosted by GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Nolan Jambert. Today, we're talking a lot of different sports. We're talking NBA, talking MLB. I told you last week I'd bring it back, and we're bringing it back. The MLB is being talked about again on the show. Let's go. MLB's back, talking some football, college, and NFL. We're doing everything today. We're talking NBA, MLB, NCAA basketball, and NFL football. Changing it up. So it's a wide variety to talk about, so we'll get to it. But before we get into any of that, tips and donations. Tips and donations are always greatly appreciated. By tipping and donating, you're showing that you guys are caring about the content that we're putting out, and we're putting out the best possible content that we can. So if you do wish to tip or donate and show your support and you're in the live stream, feel free to do that with the super chat and the sticker feature. And if you're not in the live stream and want to tip or donate, please feel free to do that with the two links in the bio and in the description. Even if you don't want to tip or donate and you still want to show your support, feel free. Arsman, I'll add you as soon as I can. Let me get through this little donation thing real quick. But feel free to, leave a comment in the live stream. I love talking to people, especially people who, comment and chat. It's the best. So please feel free to comment anything, anytime. I'll respond as soon as I can. But like I said, feel free to donate if you wish through super chat and sticker feature if you're in the live stream. And if you're not in the live stream, please feel free to do that. Just donate through the two links in the bio and in the description. With that being said, let's get into topic number one for today. With that being, both Game 7 recaps in the NBA. First round has officially come to an end as of last night. The Eastern Conference semi started last night, while the Western Conference just finished its first round of the same night. Both the Game 7s, the LA Clippers and the Denver Nuggets, and the Houston Rockets Golden State Warriors series were both very good series overall, with the Game 7s kind of not reflecting how good the series really were. Start off by talking about, the Denver Nuggets one. Denver Nuggets, Los Angeles Clippers. Game 7 in Denver, and people thought this was going to be, the game of the century. And I thought it was going to be too, because, even though I'm from Michigan, a Pistons fan at heart, I have relations to the Clippers, so I root for them. And when they're not playing the Pistons or anything like that. And I had high hopes for the Clippers. I really did believe when the playoffs started, I really believed the Clippers were going to make, some loud noise in the playoffs, really going to, make a deep run. And the hardest part for them was going to be through getting through Denver in the first round. And they lost first round in Game 7. It's a brutal loss. I really thought they were going to come through and win. But not only did they lose in Game 7, they kind of got manhandled. They lost by 15 points. At one point, with 7 minutes left, they were down 30. They went on a pretty good run, 15-2 run, to kind of close it up, to keep it within 20. Then Denver just kept it going. They kept rolling. They couldn't be stopped. And it was awesome. As a Clippers, supporter, I was sad because, I really thought that this was going to be the Clippers' year. I thought they were going to make, some noise, finally get the recognition they deserve, because they haven't made a lot of playoff noise since the bubble. They went to the Eastern or Western Conference semis that year, and that's the furthest they've been in the past few years. And they didn't win any playoff series since then. 2022, 2021, 2024, or 23, they weren't making, any playoff noise. They were in it, wouldn't win games. It was horrible. But the Clippers this year kind of just really stepped up. A lot of people at the start of the year, a lot of mock drafts, ending careers, ending for the year. A lot of people had the Clippers, not making the playoffs at all. And a lot of the players on the Clippers really stepped up, especially since people thought, another reason they thought they'd be bad, Paul George got traded in the offseason to the 76ers. And people thought with that loss, they'd be worse. In fact, they were better off without Paul George. They had a better overall record after people predicting them not even make the playoffs. Kawhi Leonard was healthy, and the healthy Kawhi Leonard throughout the most of the season is gonna win you games, and he was a huge factor for them this entire season. And I obviously got James Harden, all-time great player. You got Ivan Zubac, really making a name for himself this year. Just runner-up for most improved player. Had a great year for the Clippers. Really kind of their anchor in the paint. Phenomenal year for the Clippers. But they just fell short. James Harden just couldn't get it done. He just had a really poor Game 7. And the problem is, I was talking about this with my boss earlier, and we're saying, will James Harden career this season be remembered for his Game 7? And through the media perspective, unfortunately, yes. If you're a fan of the NBA and watch people play the game, it will not. His legacy this year will be taking the Clippers to the playoffs on putting up multiple 40, 50-point games back-to-back, just having a dominant season. But the Clippers themselves had a great overall year, making the playoffs. But Denver Nuggets are just one of the best teams in the NBA. I mean, they're not going against OKC. Russell Westbrook is going back to OKC, playing in the playoffs. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of mixed emotions there. But that's going to be a great series. It's a battle of the two MVPs, and SGA and Jokic, or the potential MVPs. But it's going to be a great year. Great series, by the way. But I'm excited to watch that one. But the other Game 7 that went to Game 7, Houston versus Golden State, that was a great series as well. I mean, split evenly. Houston was down 3-1, came back, won 2 straight games. People thought, Houston going to, come back and win this. Is Curry going to blow another 3-1 lead in the playoffs? And Curry, saved his legacy. He didn't lose another 3-1 lead, even as a 7 seed. Golden State was a 7 seed. They just upset a 2 seed in the West. By the way, a very young 2 seed, but still, they had all the playoff experience in the world, and a reason the Rockets underperformed, not winning, I guess you could say. You have a player named Jalen Green for the Houston Rockets. He played horrible for the Rockets this entire series. He was putting up barely 10 points a game in most games. Just wasn't playing like his normal self. It's his first time ever in the playoffs, and it was showing. He was, nervous, making bad plays, couldn't score. This Rockets team was so young and so playoff inexperienced that it showed. The Warriors took advantage of it, and they just came and dominated. That's really it. They really just came and dominated, and yeah, honestly, the Rockets themselves are a great team with a great future ahead of them, 100%. They had the experience now to, become a better team in the playoffs next year, because they're not going to be any worse. They're only going to get better. But the Warriors have taken full advantage of them. They just took advantage of their inexperience of the playoffs, and they won. They won in Game 7, and Game 7 performer Buddy Hield might be just the greatest Game 7 player ever. I'm being stretching that a little bit, but he was phenomenal for them this whole year. He had a great season overall, but he really stepped up in this Game 7. Had 30 points, 9 of them coming from 9 threes. He had a great year for his time in the Warriors, and he just really helped. When he's hot, he's one of the best players in the NBA. And last night it showed. He he was hot. He dropped 33, and on multiple other occasions throughout the year, he was hot, and the Warriors won games because of that. Because he just couldn't miss, and having a sharpshooter like that, a guy who is not afraid to shoot, not afraid to keep shooting, and they're going in, and he's just on fire. It's great to have guys like that, especially around Steph when Steph's on the bench resting, or Jimmy, is resting as well. Or Jimmy Butler. Speaking of Jimmy Butler, he had a great playoff series. Yeah, he was out for Game 3, and he came back off when Steph's on the bench resting, or Jimmy, is resting as well. Or Speaking of Jimmy Butler, he had a great playoff series. Yeah, he was